So with there already being so much cool stuff in the Season of Discovery, I never thought I'd be saying this, but with Season 2, it looks like the game is about to reach even greater heights with a lot of completely new things that are going to be added to the game, some that we were definitely expecting, but also quite a few changes that we were not expecting, and welcome changes at that. And with that, here are the top 10 things that I am the most excited about coming soon to Season of Discovery Phase 2. And with that, the first and honestly kind of unexpected, to me at least, feature coming to Phase 2 is that we're not only getting new runes and of course completely new possibilities with these runes, combinations, and sort of new skills, but not just that, we're actually getting two completely new rune slots, the waist and feet slots, on top of the existing 3 rune slots that we already have, allowing us to have a total of 5 runes at the same time per character. And with the new runes, some of which going into the existing rune slots and some of them going into the new 2 slots, there are definitely some old favorites that are coming back and also new and welcome additions as well, such as for the Shaman, who I will be maining for Season 2, we're actually getting 2-handed weapon mastery on top of also getting Maelstrom weapon. So if you're playing enhancement like I will be, you can actually play dual wield like in Phase 1, or even go for a potentially viable 2-handed Wind Fury build too. And with 5 new runes and new runes coming in, there's also a lot more potential for different types of hybridization of different existing traditional specs too, right? And there are even runes that sort of encourage that. For example, with the mage, there's actually going to be a rune that will allow you to, regardless of your spec, cast free arcane missiles, which will allow you to potentially be able to use multiple elements to deal damage with. And as if that wasn't enough, and to add even more to that, and onto item number 2, we're actually also going to be getting new skill books as dungeon drops, which will allow you to learn new skills as well, and some of which being quality of life type skills like totem projection for shamans, enhanced blessings for paladins, redirect for rogues, and Blizzard have said that there will also be a few surprises that we can look forward to. And next on to number 3, and still on the topic of skills, this is sort of a given with even classic or vanilla WoW, but notably with Phase 2's level cap being raised to level 40, this is actually the sort of breakpoint where every class and spec will actually be able to first access their 31 point talents, which more often than not, and also some of the talents preceding the 31 point talent are going to be very game changing or extremely high value talents for each respective spec. For example, going back to the Shaman again, in Elemental, you'll be able to finally reduce your cast time of Lightning Bolt and Chain Lightning by 1 second each, which is humongous. On top of also being able to get the 31 talent, which is a guaranteed crit. In Enhancement, you get Storm Strike. In Restoration, you get Mana Tide Totem, which arguably isn't as useful, but could be great in, say, raiding. And of course, other classes such as Warriors have Mortal Strike, and so on and so forth. And of course, as you level up to level 40, you'll also gain access to new skills and spells that were not previously accessible in Phase 1, and some of which can be very impactful. Again, like Wind Fury Totem for the Shamans, although Feral Druids could grant the effect in Phase 1, but in Phase 2, Shamans finally will get access to one of their trademark supporting abilities, and some other classes will also gain some other cool stuff like Warlocks getting their Fell Hunters, Warriors getting Berserker Stance, which could be huge, and so on. And also one quick thing I'd like to add is that at level 40, certain classes will be able to train up being able to equip new types of armor, or sort of the next level of armor, right? For example, Shamans again will be able to upgrade the armor from leather to mail at level 40. Warriors notably can then equip plate, whereas previously they could only access up to mail. And hunters can also upgrade from leather to mail as well, thus increasing their physical damage reduction, and also opening up new options for gearing for those classes. And with that, onto number 5, this is more of an unexpected feature for me, but some items, particularly dungeon items, are actually going to be tweaked and rebalanced. So this will actually make running dungeons more fun and have, or give players more of an incentive to run them whether it be while leveling up or upon reaching level 40 to get more viable pre-raid or supplementary gear. And namely, a lot of these items are actually getting buffed, especially the spellcaster items that are going to be getting a lot more spell power. Whereas in the past, in Vanilla and Classic, they might have only had base stats, right? Like stamina and intelligence and sometimes spirit. But now a lot of these items are actually going to be getting a significant buff with spell power. And also additionally, for profession items that are traditionally spellcaster items that have only had base stats on them are getting spell power too in phase 2. And this actually connects to my next point, which is number 6, which is that professions are going to be, of course, unlocking new stuff at the new skill cap for professions, which is level 225 for phase 2. And not only will armor crafting professions, of course, be getting their new gear, epic gear that is, that they'll be able to make, that are buy on pickup, and thus, again, of course, would incentivize you taking that specific profession. But in addition to that, enchanting and alchemy are also getting some love, whereas previously they were sort of service-based professions, I would like to call them, which is that they'll provide consumables and of course enchantments for other, well, it could be themselves as well, but the stuff that they can provide themselves is not better than stuff that they can provide for other players, right? But in phase 2, people are going to be incentivized to also spec into or pick up alchemy enchanting, because they're actually going to be buying on pickup a sort of enchantment or enchanting buff that is only usable by the enchanter himself. And also alchemy, for alchemy you also get a potion that only the alchemist will be able to use that is buying on pickup and will grant a fairly large damage buff. And moving on to number 7, this might be more of a controversial change or addition because of how it might actually make it easier for bots or botters. But for me, it is a pretty welcome change personally, which is that leveling for alts is going to be a bit faster with a new experience buff. And not only that, but there apparently will be other ways to gain quicker experience through some new items. They haven't really released details on them yet, but there's some kind of sleeping bag item which I assume will allow you to log out and gain rested EXP, not necessarily at an inn, so that's a pretty cool quality of life change in my opinion. But anyhow, these leveling buffs will make it easier for players who want to jump into the Season of Discovery or want to start up a new character for phase 2. Perhaps like myself, they want to try out a new spec that they hadn't wanted to do in phase 1, but with some of the new skills and runes in phase 2, they want to do that. So these EXP bonuses will make it easier for that too. And on to number 8. This change, or rather natural progression, is undoubtedly a feature that many players have been looking forward to, and that is the ability to mount. At least in addition to the Ashen Veil only mount that we had for phase 1. At level 40, you'll finally be able to train up your riding skill to be able to ride 60% speed mounts across Azeroth. And not only that, there apparently will be some new cool mounts as well. Notably, a couple have been revealed from the new Stranglethorn Veil PvP event as rewards. And speaking of which, for number 8, I am also excited about the upcoming PvP updates, including the new Stranglethorn Veil Blood Moon event, which is looking very interesting indeed, and might actually have same faction PvP, and is also not going to incentivize raids, and instead smaller party sizes. And of course, there's also the Gurubashi Arena with that, so that should be pretty exciting. And of course, with all the rewards that'll come with that, including gear and the aforementioned mounts. Ashen Veil is also getting an update, a slight one that is, which is that you no longer have to go and kill players to activate or start the event. The event will instead run on a timer, a 3-hour timer, and so players will be able to do that. Hopefully there will still be enough players interested, because I still need some of that Warsong Gulch or Warsong Outriders reputation. Next, there's also going to be really cool, at least on paper, matchmaking updates to address the problems in phase 1 where players were often queuing up against full-on pre-made teams and getting stomped, or the other way around. So with the new matchmaking changes, the idea is that players will less likely be queued against full teams if they're not in one, and vice versa, right? However, this type of updated matchmaking will not take place if there's just too few players queuing up for Battlegrounds, because they do want players to be able to enter the Battlegrounds to begin with, right, and not have to wait too long. And also on this topic is that Arathi Basin will finally become available in addition to Warsong Gold, so that will be pretty fun. And there will also be new ways to earn coveted Arathi Basin reputation by doing the new Stranglethorn Vale Blood Moon PvP event, or namely some of the new quests that will be offered alongside that event that'll give you Arathi Basin reputation. And finally, last but not least, we've not only got a new raid, which is of course Gnomeregan, which I am quite excited about as a Horde player primarily, but besides that, there will also be updates to raiding in general, such as with the new tier sets that are coming in Gnomeregan, we'll actually also be able to collect tier tokens that you can use to exchange for the pieces that you need to complete your set. And aside from that, another interesting change is that Blizzard is sort of disallowing GDKP or GDKP runs, which is where players can sort of pay or bid with gold to earn items, item drops in raids. So Blizzard's idea is to disallow that, to make it so that gold and gold farming, and by extension botting, is less incentivized and popular. So we'll see how that plays out. It'll certainly be a very interesting experiment. And the Season of Discovery is also certainly the place to try it out, I suppose. And with that, those are 10 upcoming features to the Season of Discovery Phase 2 that I am very excited about. Let me know if I missed anything that you might want to add in the comment section below. I'll definitely read your comments. And with that, happy hunting, and I will catch you in the next video. Peace.